Captain Jake Morrison stared at the blinking red light on his control panel. The alarm had been going off for 3 minutes now, and the sound was starting to give him a headache. He reached over and turned down the volume, but the light kept flashing. Something was wrong out there in the darkness of space. "What do we have, Danny?" Jake asked his communications officer. Danny Clark was young, maybe 25, with bright eyes and steady hands. He had been with the Earth Defense Force for only 2 years, but Jake trusted him. Danny pressed some buttons and listened to his headset. His face went pale. "Sir, we're getting a distress signal from Kepler 442b. It's the mining colony there. The signal is really bad. Lots of static, but they sound scared." Jake felt his stomach tighten. Mining colonies were supposed to be safe. They were far from any known alien territories, and most of them just dug up rocks and nettles. What could go wrong on a mining planet? "Put it through the speakers," Jake said. The bridge of the ship Valiant filled with crackling static. Then a voice came through, breaking up but clear enough to understand. "This is Dr. Elena Rodriguez at Base 7. We need immediate help. Something is happening here. The dig site is active. The whole place is glowing and making sounds. We found something big down there, and now it's waking up." The signal cut to static again. Danny worked at his controls, trying to get it back. After a few seconds, the voice returned. "Whatever you do, don't send just one ship. This thing, whatever it is, it's changing everything around it. The equipment is acting strange. Some of the crew are saying they feel different, like they can think faster or see better. Something's waking up down here, and I don't think it's just alien technology." Then the signal died completely. Jake stared at the silent speakers. In his 15 years with the Defense Force, he had heard a lot of distress calls. Pirates, equipment failures, solar storms. But he had never heard anything like this. "Danny, how far are we from Kepler 442b? "About 6 hours at full speed, sir." "Set course and engage maximum drive. And send a message back to Earth Command. Tell them we might need backup." The Valiant turned in space and accelerated toward the distant planet. Jake sat back in his captain's chair and tried to think. Dr. Elena Rodriguez was one of the best xenorchaeologists in human space. If she was scared, then whatever they had found was something serious. Kepler 442b was supposed to be a dead world. The mining company had found some interesting mineral deposits there, and Dr. Rodriguez's team had discovered what looked like old ruins. Ancient alien ruins were not uncommon. Humans had been exploring space for 200 years, and they had found the remains of dozens of dead civilizations. Most of them had been gone for millions of years. But this sounded different. 6 hours later, the Valiant dropped out of faster-than-light travel near Kepler 442b. The planet looked normal from space. Brown and gray continents under a thin atmosphere. 3 small moons. Nothing strange. "I'm picking up the mining base," Danny said. "They're still there, but their communications are really weird. The signal keeps changing frequency by itself." "Life signs?" "Yes, sir. About 40 people. They all seem to be alive, but the readings are strange. Their biosigns are stronger than normal, like they're all in perfect health." Jake frowned. Mining work was hard on the body. Miners were usually tired and stressed. They definitely were not in perfect health. "Take us down to the landing pad." The Valiant descended through the thin atmosphere. As they got closer to the surface, Jake could see the mining base spread out below them. It looked normal except for one thing. About a mile away from the main buildings, there was a bright blue glow coming from a large excavation site. "Danny, are you seeing this?" "Yes, sir." "That glow wasn't in any of the reports. And, sir, our instruments are acting up too. The power readings from that site are off the charts." They landed on the metal platform next to the base. Jake could see people running around outside, but they did not look panicked. They looked excited, like children who had found a new toy. Dr. Elena Rodriguez met them at the airlock. Jake had met her once before, and he remembered her as a serious woman with gray hair and tired eyes. The woman standing in front of him now looked 20 years younger. Her hair was still gray, but her eyes were bright and full of energy. "Captain Morrison, thank God you're here. You have to see this. We've found something incredible." "Doctor, your distress call said something was waking up. Are you in danger?" Elena laughed, and the sound was full of joy. "Danger? No, Captain. We're witnessing the most important discovery in human history. Come with me." They walked through the base toward the excavation site. Jake noticed that all the workers they passed looked different, healthier, more alert. Some of them were doing jobs that should have required 2 or 3 people, but they were handling the work easily by themselves. "Doctor, what exactly did you find down there?" "We thought it was just another set of ruins at first. Crystal structures. Very old, maybe 10 million years. But when Chief Engineer Rick Barnes tried to take a sample from the central chamber, everything changed. The crystals started glowing, and then we realized they weren't just crystals. They were some kind of hibernation system." They reached the edge of the excavation. Jake looked down into a pit about 50 feet deep. At the bottom was a structure made of blue crystal that pulsed with inner light. It was beautiful and strange, like nothing he had ever seen. "There's someone down there," Elena said. "Or something that looks like someone. We think it's human, but that's impossible. These ruins are millions of years old." Jake climbed down a ladder into the pit. The crystal structure was warm to the touch, and he could feel energy flowing through it like electricity through wires. In the center of the structure was a chamber filled with glowing liquid. Through the clear walls, he could see a figure floating inside. It was definitely human. A man, tall and strong-looking, with dark hair and peaceful features. But there was something else about him, something that made Jake's skin tingle. The air around the chamber seemed to shimmer, like heat waves rising from hot pavement. "How long has he been like this?" Jake asked. "We don't know." "But Captain, something happened an hour ago." The liquid started draining away, and his eyes opened. He looked right at me, and I heard a voice in my head. He said his name was Alex Kane, and he was waiting for us to find him. Jake felt cold despite the warmth from the crystals. "He spoke to you telepathically?" "Yes, and then he said something else. He said he used to be human, but now he was something more. He said he had been sleeping, waiting for humanity to grow strong enough to need him." The liquid in the chamber was almost gone now. The man inside started to move, and his eyes opened fully. They glowed with the same blue light as the crystals. Felt a voice in his mind, calm and strong. "Hello, Captain Morrison. My name is Alex Kane. I know you have questions, and I will answer them. But first, you need to know that your people are in great danger. There are others coming, others who will not be happy to see what humanity has become. I have been waiting here to help you when that time came. That time is now." Alex Kane stepped out of the crystal chamber, and Jake Morrison felt the world change around him. The air itself seemed different, charged with energy that made his hair stand up. The blue glow from the crystals grew brighter, and Jake could hear a low humming sound that seemed to come from everywhere at once. "Stay calm, Captain," Alex said, his voice still echoing in Jake's mind. "What you are feeling is normal. My presence affects everything around me now. It cannot be helped." Jake watched as Alex looked around the excavation site. The man appeared to be in his 30s, but his eyes held something ancient and knowing. He was tall and lean, wearing clothes that looked like they were made from the same crystal material as the chamber. When he moved, small sparks of blue light followed his hands. "Dr. Rodriguez," Alex said, turning to Elena. "Thank you for waking me. I know this must be confusing for you." Elena stepped forward, her scientific curiosity overcoming her fear. "Mr. Kane, how is it possible that you're human? These ruins are millions of years old. Carbon dating confirms it." Alex smiled, and Jake felt warmth spread through his chest. Time works differently when you exist partially outside normal space. I have been sleeping here for what you would call 10 million years, but for me, it feels like a long nap. But how? Elena pressed. How did you get here? How did you survive so long? Alex walked to the edge of the crystal structure and placed his hand on it. The entire formation began to glow brighter. Long ago, when humanity first reached for the stars, we found something extraordinary. We made contact with beings from higher dimensions, entities made of pure energy and thought. They had been watching the galaxy for eons, waiting for a species that could transcend physical limitations. Jake felt his knees grow weak. "You're saying aliens changed you?" "Not aliens as you think of them. These beings exist beyond matter and energy as we understand them. They offered some of us a choice. We could remain human and eventually die, or we could become something more and help guide our species to its true potential." The humming sound grew louder, and Jake noticed that the equipment around them was changing. His portable scanner was displaying readings it had never shown before. Danny's communication device was picking up signals from across the galaxy. "Several of us accepted the offer," Alex continued. "We became guardians, spread across the galaxy at key points where humanity would eventually explore. We went into hibernation, waiting for the day when our people would need us most." Elena was frantically taking notes on a device that was now writing faster than her hands moved. "What kind of abilities do you have? What did these beings do to you?" Alex held up his hand, and a small ball of blue light appeared above his palm. The light pulsed gently, and Jake felt all his aches and pains disappear. His vision became clearer, and his mind felt sharper than it had in years. "We can manipulate energy and matter at the quantum level. We can enhance biological systems, improve technology, and even affect the flow of time in small ways. But more importantly, our presence accelerates human evolution. Everyone near me will become faster, stronger, and smarter." Jake looked around and realized it was true. The mining crew was working with incredible efficiency. Chief Engineer Rick Barnes was lifting equipment that should have required a crane. Dr. Rodriguez was calculating complex formulas in her head that would normally need a computer. "This is incredible," Elena whispered. "But you said we're in danger." "What kind of danger?" Alex's expression grew serious. The blue light around him flickered like a candle in the wind. "There is an alliance of ancient alien races called the Hegemony. They have ruled the galaxy for millions of years, and they do not tolerate species that grow too powerful too quickly. They have been watching humanity's expansion, and they have decided we are a threat." Jake felt cold fear creep up his spine. "How much of a threat do they think we are?" "They plan to destroy every human colony and reduce Earth's population to a manageable level. They have done this to dozens of species before us. Any race that shows the potential for transcendence is eliminated before they can challenge the hegemony's control." Danny's voice crackled through Jake's communicator. "Captain, I'm picking up massive energy signatures on the edge of the system." "Multiple ships, sir. Really big ones." Alex nodded grimly. "They are coming sooner than I expected. We need to move quickly." "What can we do against an entire alien alliance?" Jake asked. "We're just one species with basic technology." Alex smiled again, and this time Jake felt power flowing through him like electricity. "Captain, Humanity is not just another species. You are the first race in millions of years, with the potential to truly transcend physical existence. The cosmic forces chose us for a reason. We have something the hegemony fears more than weapons or fleets. What's that? Unlimited potential for growth. While other species reach a plateau and stop evolving, humans keep changing, keep improving, keep reaching for something greater. The beings who chose me showed me visions of what humanity could become. We are not meant to just survive among the stars. We are meant to reshape them. Jake felt his mind expanding, new thoughts and possibilities flowing through him. He could see connections between things he had never noticed before. The ship systems aboard the Valiant, the mineral deposits. On this planet, even the movement of the stars above, all seemed part of a vast pattern he was just beginning to understand. The other Guardians, Elena said, her eyes wide with understanding. There are more of you out there. Yes, 12 of us total, sleeping near human colonies and exploration sites across this sector of the galaxy. As I wake up fully, I can sense them beginning to stir as well. Soon they will be awake, and humanity will have the help it needs to face what is coming. Alex walked over to Jake and placed a hand on his shoulder. Jake felt energy flow through him so powerful that his vision went white for a moment. When it cleared, he could see things differently. The crystal structure around them was not just a hibernation chamber. It was a communications device, a power source, and a weapon all at the same time. Captain Morrison, I need you to return to your ship and contact Earth Command. Tell them to gather the fleet and prepare for the largest battle in human history, but also tell them not to despair. Humanity is about to become something the galaxy has never seen before. Jake nodded, feeling strength and confidence he had never known. What about you? What will you do? I will wake my fellow Guardians and begin preparing the colonies for what is coming. A mining equipment here can be converted into defensive systems more powerful than anything humanity has built before. The people here will help me, and their enhanced abilities will spread to others. As Jake started to leave, Alex called out to him, Captain, there is one more thing you should know. The transformation that is beginning here will not stop with defeating the hegemony. This is just the first step. Humanity is destined for something much greater than ruling a galaxy. We are going to change the very nature of existence itself. Jake looked back at the glowing figure of Alex Kane, surrounded by light and energy that seemed to bend reality around him. For the first time since receiving the distress call, Jake felt hope instead of fear. Whatever was coming, humanity would be ready for it. As he climbed out of the excavation pit, Jake could feel the change spreading through him. His thoughts were clearer, his body stronger, and his understanding of the universe deeper than ever. Before, the man they had awakened was not just human anymore. He was something new, something powerful. And soon, all of humanity would be the same. Captain Jake Morrison had never flown his ship so fast. The Valiant cut through space toward Earth at maximum speed, every system pushed beyond its normal limits. But somehow, the ship was handling the stress better than it ever had before. The engines ran smoother, the hull held together perfectly, and even the old navigation computer was working like it was brand new. Jake knew it was Alex Kane's influence. Just being near the awakened Guardian for a few hours had changed everything. Jake felt different too. His reflexes were faster, his thinking clearer, and he could understand the ship's systems in ways he never had before. Danny, any word from Earth Command? Jake asked. Danny Clark looked up from his station, his eyes bright with the same enhanced awareness they all now possessed. Yes, sir. Admiral Ben Carter wants to speak with you directly. He's assembling the main fleet, but he sounds skeptical about our report. Jake was not surprised. The story of Alex Kane and Cosmic Guardians would be hard for anyone to believe. Put him through. Admiral Carter's weathered face appeared on the main screen. Jake had known Carter for 10 years, and the older man had always been practical and down to earth. Right now, he looked tired and worried. Jake, I read your report 3 times, and I still don't understand it. You're telling me we found a 10-million-year-old human who has magic powers and claims an alien alliance is coming to destroy us? Sir, I know how it sounds, but it's true. Alex Kane is real, and the changes he's causing are real too. My entire crew is performing at levels far beyond normal human capacity. Carter rubbed his forehead. Even if I believe you, what am I supposed to do? Our best intelligence says there are no major alien fleets in this sector of the galaxy. The only unusual readings we have are some energy signatures near the outer colonies, but they could be anything. Jake felt his stomach drop. Admiral, how long ago were those readings taken? About 6 hours ago. Why? Sir, that's when Alex Kane fully woke up. He said his awakening would signal the other Guardians. Those energy signatures are probably them waking up too. Carter leaned forward. Other Guardians? How many others? 12 total, spread across human space. Sir, we need to contact every colony and military outpost. If these Guardians are waking up, then the enemy is closer than we think. Before Carter could respond, Danny's console lit up with incoming signals. Captain, I'm getting reports from all over the sector. Strange energy readings, equipment malfunctions, and people reporting enhanced abilities near the colonial dig sites. Jake turned to the screen. Admiral, are you getting these reports too? Carter was looking at something off-screen, his face growing pale. Jake, we just received a priority message from the Titan colony. Commander Lisa Grant reports that her entire crew has been enhanced by contact with something they found in the ruins there. She says a man calling himself Nathan. Cross woke up from some kind of crystal chamber and warned her about an incoming alien fleet. That's one of the Guardians, Jake said. Admiral, we need to take this seriously. Alex Kane told me the hegemony has been planning this attack for years. They're not going to announce themselves. Carter was quiet for a moment, processing now information. Then his expression hardened into the look Jake remembered from their battles against pirates in the Outer Rim. All right, Jake, I'm calling a full fleet alert. Every ship, every station, maximum readiness. But I want you to get back to that mining colony. If this Alex Kane really has the abilities you described, we're going to need him. The communication ended, and Jake ordered Danny to change course back to Kepler 442b. As they turned around, Jake noticed something strange on the long-range sensors. There were ships out there, moving between the stars, but they were not broadcasting any identification signals. Danny, are you seeing this? Yes, sir. Multiple contacts moving in formation toward human space. They're big, Captain, much bigger than our largest battleships. Jake felt cold fear creep down his spine. How many ships? I count at least 50, but there might be more. They're partially hidden behind some kind of energy field. As they raced back toward the mining colony, Jake tried to reach other human ships in the area. Most of them reported normal status, but a few near the colonial dig sites were reporting the same miraculous improvements that the Valiant was experiencing. Captain Betty Stone of the merchant vessel Frontier called in from near the archaeological site on Wolf 359. Morrison, you're not going to believe this. We picked up a woman from the dig site, calls herself Maria Santos. She was sleeping in some kind of crystal chamber for millions of years. Now our cargo hauler is flying like a fighter craft, and my crew is working like they have 20 years of extra experience. Similar reports came in from across human space. The Guardians were waking up, and each one was transforming everything around them. But Jake noticed something troubling in the reports. The alien fleet was moving faster than any human ship, and they were heading directly for the most populated human worlds. When the Valiant arrived back at Kepler 442b, Jake could see that the mining colony had transformed completely. What had been a small collection of buildings was now a sprawling complex of crystalline structures that glowed with blue energy. The excavation pit had become a massive communication array, sending signals across the galaxy. Alex Kane met them at the landing pad, but he looked different now. The glow around him was brighter, and Jake could see energy patterns flowing across his skin like living tattoos. His eyes held a depth that seemed to contain entire star systems. "Captain Morrison, welcome back. I have been in contact with my fellow Guardians, and the situation is more serious than I initially thought." "How serious?" Jake asked, though he was afraid to hear the answer. The Hegemony fleet numbers over 2,000 ships. They have been planning this attack for 50 years, ever since they detected the first signs of humanity's potential for transcendence. They call it a cleansing operation. Jake felt his heart sink. 2,000 ships? Admiral Carter is assembling our entire fleet, but we only have about 300 vessels total. Alex smiled, and Jake felt confidence flow through him like warm sunlight. "Captain, you are thinking in terms of old warfare. Numbers matter much less when you can bend the laws of physics." Alex led Jake to the central crystal formation, which had grown into a towering spire that reached toward the sky. Each Guardian can enhance thousands of humans and countless machines. Your 300 ships will soon be worth 3,000 normal vessels. But will that be enough? It will have to be. But there is something else you need to understand. This battle is not just about survival. It is about transformation. Humanity is going to learn what it truly means to transcend physical limitations. Danny's voice crackled through Jake's communicator. "Captain, we're receiving a transmission. It's from the alien fleet. They want to talk." Jake and Alex exchanged glances. Put it through. The communication system activated, and a voice filled the air. It was deep and cold, speaking perfect English with an accent that sounded like grinding stone. "This is Archon Zextil of the Hegemony High Command. We address the leaders of the human species." Alex stepped forward. "I am Alex Kane, Guardian of humanity. What do you want, Archon?" There was a pause. Then the voice continued with what sounded like surprise. "A Guardian awakens. We did not expect this development for another 1,000 years. No matter. You will surrender all faster-than-light-capable vessels and restrict your species to your home system. You have 24 hours to comply." "And if we refuse?" Alex asked. "Then your species will be reduced to a population level that poses no threat to galactic stability. You have seen our fleet. You know resistance is futile." Alex's glow intensified, and Jake felt power radiating from him like heat from a star. "Archon Zextil, you have made a grave error. You assume that humanity is still the species you have been watching. We are not. We have become something new, something your ancient empire has never encountered. Threats from primitives do not concern us, Guardian. You have 24 hours. The transmission ended, leaving them in silence. Jake looked at Alex, searching, his glowing eyes for hope. "Can we really stand against 2,000 ships?" Alex turned toward the sky, where the first stars were beginning to appear in the darkening atmosphere. "Captain, the hegemony has ruled the galaxy for millions of years by destroying anyone who might challenge them. They have never faced a species with unlimited potential for growth." Alex raised his hand, and every crystal structure on the planet began to pulse with synchronized light. "They are about to learn what happens when you try to contain a force of nature." The 24 hours passed like a dream. Captain Jake Morrison had never seen anything like what happened to the human fleet during that time. Ships that had been decades old were suddenly performing like they had just rolled out of the best. Shipyards. Weapons that could barely scratch asteroid rock were now cutting through metal like paper. And the crews, every single person who came near one of the awakened guardians, became something more than they had been before. Jake stood on the bridge of the Valiant, watching his tactical display. The human fleet had gathered near Earth, 300 ships arranged in defensive formations. It should have looked hopeless against the massive hegemony armada that was approaching. Instead, Jake felt calm confidence flowing through him. "Danny, what's our status?" Jake asked. Danny Clark looked up from his enhanced communication console. His eyes now glowed with a faint blue light, the same as everyone who had spent time near Alex Kane. "All ships report ready, sir. Guardian Kane is coordinating with the other 11 Guardians across the fleet. They're all connected somehow, sharing information faster than our computers can process it." Through the ship's speakers, Alex Kane's voice reached every human vessel at once. "People of Earth, this is Guardian Kane. In a few minutes, we will face an enemy that has ruled the Forli galaxy for millions of years. They believe we are just another primitive species to be eliminated. Today, we will show them what humanity really is." Jake could see the hegemony fleet now, massive dark shapes moving against the stars. The ships were enormous, some of them the size of cities. Their hulls were black and smooth, absorbing light rather than reflecting it. Jake counted the enemy vessels and felt his heart skip. There were not 2,000 ships. There were over 3,000. "Admiral Carter to all ships," came the familiar voice of Earth's fleet commander. "Enemy fleet has arrived. All units, prepare for battle. And remember, we're not just fighting for Earth today. We're fighting for the future of humanity itself." The lead hegemony ship, a massive vessel shaped like a twisted spear, moved forward from the alien formation. Jake could see weapon ports opening along its hull, revealing technology that humanity had never encountered before. "This is Archon Zexthul," the cold alien voice filled space. "Your time has expired. You have chosen destruction over submission. So be it." The first hegemony ship fired. A beam of red energy shot across space toward the human fleet. Jake expected to see one of their ships explode, but something incredible happened instead. The beam struck the destroyer Neptune, but instead of destroying the ship, the energy seemed to bend around it. The Neptune's hull glowed for a moment. Then the ship fired back with weapons that blazed brighter than any human technology should have been able to manage. What just happened? Jake asked. Alex Kane appeared on the bridge, not walking through the door, but simply materializing from blue light. "The ships are no longer bound by normal physics, Captain. Guardian Maria Santos on the Neptune has shifted the vessel partially outside normal spacetime. Energy weapons cannot touch something that exists in multiple dimensions." Jake watched in amazement as the battle unfolded. Human ships were moving in ways that should have been impossible, turning and accelerating without regard for momentum or gravity. Colonel Amy Walsh led a squadron of fighters that seemed to dance between enemy weapons fire, moving so fast they became blurs of light. "How are they doing that?" Jake asked. "Time moves differently around the Guardians," Alex explained. "Your pilots are experiencing the battle in slow motion, giving them time to react to threats that would normally be impossible to avoid." The hegemony ships fired again, this time with hundreds of weapons at once. The space between the fleets filled with deadly energy, enough firepower to destroy entire planets. But the human ships flowed through the attack like water, untouched and unharmed. Then the human fleet struck back. Their weapons had been transformed by the Guardians' influence, firing energy that existed partially in higher dimensions. The supposedly invincible hegemony shields offered no protection against attacks that came from directions that did not exist in normal space. 3 massive enemy ships exploded in the first exchange. their ancient hulls torn apart by weapons they could not understand or defend against. Impossible, came Archon Zexthul's voice over the communications. Our shields are perfect. Our technology is flawless. How are primitive weapons penetrating our defenses? Alex smiled, and Jake felt power flowing through every system on the ship. Archon, your technology is based on the old understanding of awe. Reality. You have mastered 3 dimensions and linear time. Humanity is learning to exist in 11 dimensions and experience time as a tool rather than a limitation. The battle continued, and Jake realized that it was not really a battle at all. It was a demonstration. The hegemony ships, for all their size and power, could not hit targets that existed partially outside normal space. Meanwhile, human weapons struck from angles that the alien shields could not cover because those angles simply did not exist in the aliens' understanding of physics. Within an hour, half the hegemony fleet was destroyed or disabled. The remaining ships tried to retreat, but they found their escape routes blocked by human vessels that had somehow moved behind them faster than light-speed travel should have allowed. Guardian Kane. Archon Zexthul's voice was different now, filled with something Jake had never heard from the aliens before. Fear. We withdraw our ultimatum. The hegemony will not interfere with human expansion. Too late, Archon, Alex replied. You came here to commit genocide. You planned to reduce humanity to a species of slaves. Did you think there would be no consequences? Jake watched as Alex's form began to change. The Guardian was becoming brighter, more energy than matter. Around the fleet, Jake could sense the other Guardians doing the same thing. They were merging their consciousness somehow, becoming a single entity that existed across multiple locations at once. What's happening? Jake asked. We are showing the hegemony what transcendence really means, Alex said, his voice now echoing. From everywhere at once. They need to understand that the old order of the galaxy is ending. The merged Guardian consciousness reached out to the remaining hegemony ships, not with weapons, but with pure thought. Jake could feel it happening. A wave of awareness spreading from the human fleet to the alien vessels. Suddenly, Archon Zexthul's voice changed completely. The cold, grinding tone was replaced by something filled with wonder and confusion. What have you done to us? I can see, I can understand. Our empire, our control, it was all based on fear. Fear of change, fear of growth, fear of becoming something. More than what we were. We have shown you what you could become, the merged Guardians replied. Your species stopped evolving millions of years ago because you were afraid of change. You have been stagnant for so long that you forgot what growth feels like. Jake watched in amazement as the hegemony ships began to glow with the same blue light that surrounded the Guardians. The aliens were changing, their consciousness expanding beyond the limits they had imposed on themselves for eons. The choice is yours, Archon, the Guardians continued. You can continue to cling to your old empire and your fear of change. Or you can join humanity in exploring what it truly means to transcend physical existence. There was a long silence. Then Archon Zexthul spoke again, his voice now filled with something that sounded almost like joy. Guardian, we have made terrible mistakes. We destroyed species that could have become our teachers. We suppressed our own growth out of fear. Help us. Show us how to become what we were meant to be. The merged Guardian consciousness began to separate back into individual Guardians. Alex Kane reappeared on the bridge of the Valiant, looking tired but satisfied. Captain Morrison, the battle is over, but the real work is just beginning. Jake looked at the tactical display. The hegemony fleet was still there, but the ships were changing. Their dark hulls were beginning to glow with new energy. Their weapon ports were sealing shut, being replaced by what looked like communication arrays and research equipment. What happens now? Jake asked. Alex smiled. Now we teach them what humanity has learned about unlimited potential. And then, Captain, we prepare for what comes next. This galaxy is just the beginning. There are forces out there that make the hegemony look like children playing with toys. But that is a challenge for another day. Jake nodded, feeling the weight of the future settling on his shoulders. Humanity had won this battle, but he suspected they had also just announced their presence to things far more powerful than ancient alien empires. Whatever came next, they would face it as they had faced the hegemony, together, transformed and without limits. 6 months had passed since the battle that changed everything. Captain Jake Morrison stood on the observation deck of the space station that now orbited Kepler 442b, looking out at something that would have been impossible to imagine before. The awakening. The mining colony had become the center of a new kind of civilization, one that existed in multiple dimensions at the same time. Crystal structures stretched from the planet's surface into space itself, creating bridges of pure energy that connected to similar formations around other human worlds. Ships moved through these pathways faster than traditional faster-than-light travel, carried by currents of force that the Guardians had taught humanity to navigate. It's beautiful, isn't it? Dr. Elena Rodriguez appeared beside him. She looked different now, as they all did. Her hair had turned silver white, and her eyes held depths that seemed to contain galaxies. The transformation that had begun with proximity to the Guardians had continued to spread throughout humanity. I still can't believe how much has changed, Jake said. 6 months ago, we were just miners and patrol officers. Now we're reshaping star systems. Elena smiled. Alex Kane says this is just the beginning. The real changes are happening to us, not to the technology around us. Jake nodded. He could feel it himself, the constant expansion of his awareness and capabilities. His mind could now process information at speeds that would have burned out computers, and his understanding of physics had grown to include concepts that had no names in any human language. Through the crystal pathways, Jake could sense the other human colonies. Each one had become a node in a vast network of consciousness that spanned hundreds of light years. The Guardians had awakened more than just sleeping beings. They had awakened the potential that lay hidden in every human mind. Captain Morrison. Came a familiar voice. Alex Kane appeared in a shower of blue light, materializing on the observation deck. We need to talk. Jake had grown used to the Guardian's sudden appearances, but he still felt a thrill of awe every time he saw Alex. The Guardian had continued to evolve, becoming less physical and more energy with each passing day. Sometimes Jake wondered if Alex was still human at all, or if he had become something entirely new. What's happening? Jake asked. The other Guardians and I have been monitoring deep space. We've detected signals from the galactic core, from civilizations far older and more powerful than the hegemony. Our transformation of this sector has gotten their attention. Elena stepped forward, her scientific curiosity overcoming any fear. What kind of civilizations? Alex's expression grew serious. Species that transcended physical existence millions of years ago. They exist as pure consciousness, manipulating matter and energy across entire galaxies. The cosmic forces that chose us to become Guardians were once part of their society. Jake felt a chill despite the warm energy that surrounded Alex. Are they hostile? Not hostile, but concerned. Humanity's rate of growth is unprecedented. In 6 months, we have achieved transformations that typically take millions of years. They want to understand how this is possible, and whether we represent an opportunity or a threat to the cosmic order. Through the crystal network, Jake could sense activity throughout human space. Ships were moving, not in panic, but in preparation. The enhanced human crews could feel the same signals that the Guardians detected, and they were responding with the coordinated efficiency that had become natural since the awakening. Are we ready for contact with beings like that? Jake asked. Alex smiled, and Jake felt confidence flow through him. Captain, humanity has always been ready for whatever comes next. That's what makes us unique. We don't just adapt to challenges. We transcend them. A new voice joined the conversation, speaking from the crystal network itself. It was Archon Zexthil, the former hegemony leader who had become one of humanity's first students in transcendence. His people had embraced the transformation eagerly, making up for millions of years of stagnation in just a few months. Guardian Kane, our long-range sensors are detecting massive structures moving toward this galaxy. They appear to be constructed from folded space-time itself. Alex nodded. Thank you, Archon. The Cosmic Council has decided to visit us directly, rather than simply sending messages. Jake looked out at the stars, trying to imagine beings powerful, enough to fold space-time into tools. What do they want from us? To understand what we are becoming, Alex said, and to determine whether humanity should be guided, contained, or elevated to join their society. Elena was taking notes on a device that wrote her thoughts directly without her needing to touch it. What's the difference between those options? Guidance means they would teach us slowly, over millions of years, helping us develop at a pace they consider safe. Containment means they would limit our growth to prevent us from disrupting the cosmic balance. Elevation means they would accelerate our transformation and invite us to help shape the universe alongside them. Jake felt the weight of the decision settling on humanity. Which option do you think they'll choose? Before Alex could answer, the space around them began to change. The stars seemed to bend and twist, and new colors appeared that Jake's enhanced vision could perceive, but that had no names in human language. The crystal network throughout human space began to resonate with harmonics that touched something deep in Jake's consciousness. They're here, Alex said simply. What appeared in space could not really be called a ship. It was more like a living thought made visible, a structure of pure consciousness that existed in 11 dimensions at once. Jake could see it with his eyes, but he could also feel it with his mind, a presence so vast and ancient that it made him feel like a child looking at the ocean for the first time. A voice spoke to every human mind simultaneously, not through words, but through direct transfer of meaning. We are the Cosmic Council. We have come to evaluate the species known as humanity. Jake felt Alex step forward, his guardian nature allowing him to communicate on the same level as these cosmic beings. We welcome you to our Space Council. We are honored by your attention. You should be concerned rather than honored, young guardian. Your species has achieved in months what typically requires eons. Such rapid change creates ripples throughout the cosmic structure. We must determine whether these ripples represent growth or chaos. Through the crystal network, Jake could sense every human in the galaxy pausing in their activities. Miners, scientists, soldiers, farmers, all of them suddenly aware that the future of their species was being decided. We have grown quickly because we choose not to be limited by fear, Alex replied. Every species in this galaxy told us that rapid change was dangerous, that we should slow down, that we should accept limitations. We chose transcendence instead. The cosmic presence seemed to consider this. Jake felt his mind being examined, not intrusively but gently, as if vast intelligence was trying to understand what made humanity unique. Your potential is indeed remarkable, the council finally responded. But potential can lead to either creation or destruction. Show us what you intend to do with the power you are gaining. Alex gestured toward the transformed planets and star systems throughout human space. We intend to help other species find their own paths to transcendence. The hegemony races are already beginning their own transformations. We want to turn this galaxy into a place where growth and change are celebrated rather than feared. Jake felt something shift in the cosmic presence, a sense of approval mixed with amazement. In our billions of years of existence, we have never encountered a species with such dedication to unlimited growth. Most races reach a comfortable level of development and stop. You refuse to stop. You see every limitation as a challenge to overcome. The presence paused, and Jake felt the weight of cosmic decision pressing down on reality itself. We choose elevation. Humanity will be invited to join the Cosmic Council. But know that this invitation comes with responsibility. You will help guide the development of consciousness throughout the universe. You will become gardeners of reality itself. Alex bowed, and Jake felt joy flowing through the crystal network as every human in the galaxy realized what had just happened. They had not just survived contact with cosmic intelligence. They had been invited to join it. There is one more thing you should know, the council continued. Your galaxy is not the only one showing signs of rapid evolution. Similar transformations are beginning in distant galaxies, and we believe humanity's influence is somehow triggering these changes across vast distances. Jake looked at Alex, seeing wonder in the Guardian's glowing eyes. You mean we're affecting the entire universe? It appears so, Captain. What woke up on Kepler 442b wasn't just one human guardian. It was the universe itself finally remembering what it was meant to become. As the cosmic presence prepared to depart, Jake felt a deep sense of completion mixed with anticipation. The mining colony that had sent a simple distress call had become the birthplace of a new cosmic order. Humanity had not just found its place among the stars. It had found its purpose in reshaping existence itself. The future stretched ahead, infinite and full of possibilities that even enhanced human minds could barely imagine. And Jake knew that whatever came next, humanity would face it the same way they had faced everything else.